A white-haired woman gazes at her beautiful reflection. In a grand estate, the white-haired woman asks the brown-haired man when he'll return, but he tells her not today. He coldly declares his long absence. She sadly accepts his decision. She graciously promises to await his return. He turns and leaves her behind. With a click of his heel, he stops, questioning her intentions. The woman, Lily, tries to see him off, but he coldly reminds her she cannot leave the tower. Lily bids Lord Amber farewell. She is Queen Lily Harlan, married to King Amber Ricardo 3 months ago. Their wedding was a facade. She is queen in name only. Amber confined Queen Lily to a separate tower, forbidding her to leave. Lily sadly concludes that Lord Amber dislikes her. She reflects on her lonely life, with minimal servants, who leave quickly. She walks alone, questioning his reasons for marrying her. She discovers an item Lord Amber dropped. Wondering if he dropped it, she picks up the precious item. She worries he will be in trouble for losing it. She decides she should return the lost item to him. Despite his orders, she considers leaving the tower. She leaves, hoping to return the item without meeting him directly. As she walks, a voice calls out to Queen Lily. Lily looks up to see a woman in red. The woman introduces herself as Princess Maria of Alta. Maria congratulates Lily, then urgently says she must tell her something. Lily questions her, and Maria declares that she and Amber are in love. Maria smiles cruelly as a shocked Lily can only gasp. Maria cruelly reveals that Amber regrets marrying Lily and locked her away for it. Maria mocks Lily for being alone on her wedding night, claiming Amber was with her instead. Lily trembles in disbelief, questioning Maria's cruel words. Maria proclaims she is Amber's lover and would be queen if not for Lily. She desperately wants to disbelieve, but her lonely memories surface. Her world shatters as she recalls his coldness. "If only you weren't here," Maria says, pulling a dagger on a terrified Lily. With a sickening stab, Maria attacks her, screaming for her to die for their sake. Blood trickles from Lily's lips as she falls. As Lily dies, Maria coldly thanks her for making her future with Amber possible. Lying in a pool of blood, she faintly pleads for help. A cloaked figure flees the scene. As she fades, she recalls always feeling something was wrong with Lord Amber. She remembers being locked away and abandoned on their wedding night. Lord Amber runs through the rain, finding her and sweeping her into his arms. Her eyes are closed, blood staining her lips. He holds her limp body tightly in the pouring rain. The rain pours down as he holds her. Tears stream down his grief-stricken face. She realizes her love was unrequited. Her final thought is a wish to have never married Lord Amber. Suddenly, her butterfly hairpiece begins to glow. Bathed in light, she makes a desperate wish to redo her life. As everything shatters, a voice calls her name. Lily. Her eyes fly open as a voice calls her name. Seeing her brother, Lily asks if he's there. A man asks if she had a bad dream, while another suggests she sleep longer before the parade. Now riding in a grand carriage, a disoriented Lily wonders what is going on. Looking at her reflection, she recognizes the dress she wore to Lord Amber's 19th birthday parade. A blonde woman beside her says Lily, and notes that her accessory is coming loose. Oh, she touches the butterfly brooch, pinned to her chest. The carriage jolts violently, causing her to gasp in alarm. As the brooch flies through the air, a voice yells, "Watch out!" and she desperately reaches to catch it. Securing the brooch in her hand, she realizes this moment is familiar. She dropped it during this parade because the clasp was loose. She remembers the important brooch getting cracked that day. Recalling how she repaired it herself, she wonders if time truly reversed or if the future was just a nightmare. Gazing at the brooch, she decides she must get a better grasp of the situation. When her brother asks if she is okay, she reassures him, explaining the clasp is loose and she will take the brooch off. The magnificent royal parade proceeds through a street packed with cheering onlookers. The crowd eagerly watches the ornate carriage as it passes by. Holding a bouquet of purple flowers, Lily confirms that this is exactly how she remembers it. Prince Ambers, dressed in a formal white uniform, confidently steps down from his carriage. Lily stands before the imposing figure of the prince. She looks up at him with a hint of apprehension. Amber gazes down with a slight, confident smile. Presenting the flowers, she thinks that this gentle man is not the person she knew. The woman beside her calls her name, snapping her out of her thoughts. Lily offers him the bouquet with a bright smile, and he accepts it with a soft, "Thank you." Looking up at him, she wonders why he has such a gentle expression. The scene shifts to a memory of a grand ball, with couples dancing under a massive chandelier. She remembers dancing with Amber in a beautiful blue dress. At a ball hosted by him, the new king, she gazes up at him. She recalls that in that moment, she fell for him. Embracing her as they dance, he gave her her first idea of love. She remembers the pure happiness she felt at being chosen by him. A memory shows them seated on thrones during their solemn wedding ceremony. She recalls being a mere figurehead queen, as they never even had their wedding night. In a tragic memory, she lies dying in a pool of blood, thinking he never once. Back in the present, Amber gently tucks one of the purple roses into her hair. He holds the bouquet she gave him as they stand face to face. He looks down at the flowers with a warm, gentle smile. Her heart pounds in her chest as she watches him. He thanks her for the lovely bouquet and wishes her an enjoyable parade. "Yes," she replies softly, her gaze lowered. The royal carriage departs, continuing its procession through the city. After the parade, the blonde woman beside her remarks that it was wonderful. Lily clenches her fists, questioning if he was truly so kind and smiling. She wonders if the dark future she remembers was just a dream. If it was, she concludes, it was a terrible one. A sharp pain hits her head as she recalls the true events of this day, the carriage wheel breaking, the glass shattering, and her brother becoming crippled. She grimaces at the memory of her brother in a wheelchair. A crucial bolt on the carriage wheel snaps. As the carriage lurches, she cries out in sudden terror. In a flash of insight, she throws herself over her brother to shield him from the impact. Peeking from under the blanket she used to cover him, she looks around and asks, "What?" Looking out the window, she has a sudden thought. Her eyes widen in dawning realization. A determined glint appears in her eye. In a flash of memory, a golden carriage shatters. She clutches her head, reliving the traumatic moment. In the past, her family stands by the broken carriage as her father is asked if he's hurt, but he confirms he's uninjured. Her father gratefully credits Lily's quick thinking for their safety. She remembers a tender moment with her smiling, blue-haired brother. The scene transitions to a grand estate. Pink roses adorn the beautiful manor. Back in the present, she sits at her vanity. She sighs in relief, finding her butterfly brooch is unbroken. She remembers dropping the important brooch on the way to the parade. She recalls how the brooch had cracked when it fell. She wonders if the past could have been prevented. A vivid memory of finding Lord Amber's lost cross brooch returns. Sitting by a vase of roses, she contemplates her new reality. She stands and picks up the vase. Testing a theory, she lets the vase fall, desperately yelling, "Stop!" In disbelief, she watches the vase and flowers freeze mid-air. Catching it, she decides to try again. The effort causes a sharp pain in her head. The vase shatters on the floor as her power gives out. A trickle of blood runs from her nose. 3 days later, time has passed. Lily dines with a woman with light pink hair. As a maid trips, spilling a teapot, Lily realizes she can stop time for 3 seconds. She calmly reassures the terrified maid, who profusely apologizes. She reflects that her power is limited to 3 uses a day. The woman asks Lily if she will be studying today, and she confirms. Sipping her tea, Lily thinks she has found a new interest. The scene shifts to the exterior of the grand mansion. With a stack of books, she resolves to investigate her newfound ability. She drops the papers, her butterfly brooch resting on a nearby table. She remembers her family's happiness when she married Lord Amber in her past life. The thought of their heartbreak over her death fills her with sorrow. Her expression hardens with renewed resolve. In a flash of determination, she confronts a memory of Lord Amber Ricardo and vows to never marry him. As she practices her power, she sends a vase of flowers flying. She successfully freezes them mid-air. She has been continuously practicing stopping time. The strain of her training causes another nosebleed. She celebrates her amazing progress, extending her power to 10 minutes. However, she still cannot exceed the 3 time limit per day. A knock sounds as a maid informs her that it is almost time. As maids help her dress, she knows the day of Amber's ball has finally arrived. A few months ago, the king passed away, and Amber was crowned the new king. Now, King Amber is hosting his first royal ball. The ball is an official celebration of the new king's accession to the throne, but everyone knows it is also a search for his queen. A determined Amber holds a glowing object in his hand. A hand reaches out toward a surprised Lily. At the ball, she is shocked he approached her, recalling she wanted to refuse the invitation. She remembers feeling she couldn't refuse the nationwide ceremony for debutantes. She resolves that if Amber doesn't approach her tonight, her marriage's future might change. Trusting her ability will see her through. A voice compliments her stunning dress, and she thanks them. Her maids ask which accessories she would like to wear. From a jewelry box, she chooses a blue and gold butterfly brooch. A maid apologizes profusely, explaining that the brooch's clasp is loose. With a kind smile, Lily says it's fine and agrees to choose something else. The grand ball is in full swing as couples dance across the floor. An orchestra provides the music for the elegant affair. Standing among the guests, Lily scans the room, thinking of Amber. Meanwhile, Amber sits on his throne, looking bored as ladies are presented. Lily peeks from behind a column, having decided her strategy is to watch his every move. She plans her escape, knowing she can stop time for 10 minutes. Believing this gives her enough leeway, she prepares to create distance. To her surprise, Amber walks right past her hiding spot. She calms her racing heart, telling herself she just needs to survive tonight. Amber strides confidently through the hall as guests part ways before him. He scans the crowded room, his gaze searching for someone. Peeking from her pillar, Lily realizes he must be looking for a marriage partner. She closes her eyes, trying to convince herself their earlier encounter was a coincidence. A faint knowing smile plays on Amber's lips as he turns. Oh no. Standing frozen, Lily realizes she accidentally stopped time. With time stopped, she flees, determined to keep her distance from Amber. As time resumes, Amber wonders about the strange sensation he just felt. Now hidden behind a curtain, she feels safe and wonders where he is. Bikuri! She gasps in shock as she pulls back the curtain to find him standing there. Denying she was avoiding him, she is stunned when he asks her for a dance. "I'd be honored, Your Majesty," she says, accepting his outstretched hand. The hem of a dark red dress sweeps across the floor. A woman with black hair and glowing purple eyes glares from behind a pillar. As they dance, Lily regrets not escaping when she had the chance. He looks down at her intently, and she silently wonders how he found her. Her eyes widen slightly with a dawning fear. She wonders if this means the future is unchangeable after all. He leans in, asking if she dislikes dancing. She puts on a smile, assuring him that she's just nervous. Her beautiful smile seems to capture his full attention. She looks away with a confused, "Huh." He dips her elegantly as the scene shifts to the moonlit palace gardens. On a balcony, she wonders if he's ever invited her out like this before. He offers her a drink, but she politely declines, stating she doesn't drink alcohol. Understanding, he clarifies that it's juice and hands her the glass. She asks what he wanted to discuss, and he replies he just wanted to talk. He gazes into her eyes with a soft, serious expression. Stunned, she asks why he's inquiring if she's fond of someone. He explains it's just a feeling he got while they were dancing. Flustered, Lily insists there is no one she likes. Lord Amber hides a knowing, gentle smile. Lily is stunned, wondering if she just saw him truly smile. She ponders if he has someone he loves. As they stand on the balcony, he lovingly confesses he's only ever thought of her. Her expression shatters as a painful memory surfaces. She remembers there were always signs of his distance. She recalls him looking past her during a meal. In hindsight, she realizes he was always absent-minded. She remembers him drinking wine, his attention elsewhere. His cold, distant eyes haunt her memory. A sharp pang of sorrow hits her. She understands he thought of another while she was confined to the tower. The truth dawns. Amber is still in love with Maria. Heartbroken, she questions why he married her at all. Back in the present, Amber approaches a trembling and silent Lily. He asks what's wrong, but his secretary, Duke Snake Sinar, interrupts with a message. The secretary reports that Princess Maria of Alta is insisting on a meeting. Lily's heart drops at the mention of Maria's name. Amber immediately agrees to go, leaving Lily behind. He excuses himself from Princess Harlan, claiming he must greet other guests. Feigning a smile, she tells him not to worry. From the balcony, Lily watches as Amber meets a woman in a stunning red and black gown. The woman, Maria, flirts, saying she couldn't wait to see him. The two share a warm, intimate glance. Lily watches them from above, alone. Her gaze falls on the red rose in Maria's hair. She realizes with horror that he was already betraying her. The sight of them together confirms her worst fears. A brief, cheerful interlude thanks the reader for their support. Walking up the stairs, she steels herself, believing it will be okay. She thinks with relief that she won't have to marry him now. Hope glimmers as she realizes the future is changing. Her resolve hardens. She will never marry Amber. She descends the stairs, determined to change her destiny. The scene shifts to the grand estate under a starry night sky. After the ball, Amber's secretary suggests he rest for the night. Amber seems surprised when his secretary notes he appeared to enjoy himself. The secretary recalls seeing Amber dancing happily with Lily. Amber remembers Lily asking if he had someone special, and now wonders if she truly has no one. He asks his secretary, Snake, if Lady Lily Harlan has a fiancé or suitor. He flashes back to Maria, giving Lily a venomous look at the ball. Amber begins to write a letter as his secretary watches, confused. He presents a sealed letter regarding an engagement to the Harlan dukedom for Lily. When his aide questions the plan, Amber sternly confirms his seriousness. He orders the letter be kept confidential and delivered by the aide himself. He adds that Lily must keep the letter with her at all times. Amber muses that her reaction doesn't matter. A blue-haired maid secretly watches him from the hallway. Her eyes widen in terror as shadowy forms creep around the door frame. As his aide prepares to leave, a guard warns him to be careful traveling by horse so late at night. The aide, startled by a sudden bump from a blue-haired maid, drops the letter he's carrying. The maid apologizes profusely to Mr. Sinar, but he reassures her that he was also in a hurry. Her eyes fall upon the letter addressed to Lady Lily Harlan, her expression hardening. With a pleasant smile, the maid picks up the letter and returns it to him. Mr. Sinar accepts the letter with a simple thank you. The maid explains she was worried about an unwell horse, which is why she was out so late. She wishes Mr. Sinar a safe journey, and he acknowledges her concern. He pauses for a moment, watching her as she walks away into the night. With renewed focus, he reminds himself of his urgent task, delivering the letter. The blue-haired maid rushes through the woods, determined to inform Princess Maria of the letter's existence. The scene shifts to a grand mansion as a voice wonders about a visitor. Two maids inform a white-haired Lily that visitors from the royal castle have arrived to see her personally. As maids help her dress, Lily recalls a similar visit in her past life, but she'd assumed the envoy was for her father. Final touches are applied to her makeup as she prepares to meet the royal messenger. A cheerful chibi character thanks the readers for their support. The scene transitions to the magnificent exterior of the Harlan estate. Mr. Sinar greets his hosts, thanking them for their warm welcome despite his unexpected arrival. After Lily apologizes for the wait, he presents the sealed letter, stating the king wished it delivered directly to her. She thanks him, but as she takes the letter, a sense of familiarity washes over her. It reminds her of a letter from her father, but she dismisses the thought, knowing only the contents will reveal the truth. As she reads, her expression becomes deeply troubled, a change that does not go unnoticed by Mr. Sinar. He notes her pale complexion and asks if she is all right. Lily apologizes and requests some time to formulate a response to the letter. He agrees to inform the king and wait for her reply, though he internally debates telling His Highness about her unsettled reaction. Ultimately, he decides against it, convinced that the honor of a royal connection means she will undoubtedly accept the proposal. His duty done for now, Mr. Sinar rides away from the estate. From her window, Lily watches him depart, confirming with dread that it was a marriage proposal from Amber. She remembers a different time, when her family had celebrated a similar letter with overwhelming joy. Holding the proposal, she's filled with anguish, questioning why this fate is pursuing her again. She resolves never to be betrayed or die miserably again, just as her brother, Luder, enters, asking about the messenger from the castle. Her blue-haired brother approaches, sensing her distress and asking if something is wrong. Putting on a brave face, Lily lies that it was merely a thank you note from the king for dancing with him. She silently vows not to let her family become entangled in her worries. Staring out at the sunlit estate, she feels lost, wondering how she should respond to the king's letter. Elsewhere, King Amber sits at his desk and asks his secretary, Snake, for an update on the letters. He specifically asks if a reply to his proposal has arrived yet. Growing impatient, he decides to leave immediately, calculating he can reach her by afternoon. Amber glares menacingly at Snake, sensing his secretary knows something he doesn't. Cornering his nervous aide, he demands to know what is being hidden from him. Back at the Harlan estate, Lily remains tormented, wondering what to do now that the dreaded letter has arrived. She paces her balcony, torn. 2 days have passed, and she knows refusing the king could have dire consequences for her family. She concludes that her only option is to consult her father about the difficult situation. Lily stands on the high balcony, lost in thought. Suddenly, a figure below looks up and she sees it's King Amber himself. Startled by his sudden appearance, she covers her mouth in shock, addressing him as, "Your Highness." Amber explains he came for her reply, claiming he couldn't find a servant and simply stumbled upon her. Lily, flustered, can only apologize for the delay. She admits that formulating her response is taking much longer than she had anticipated. He gazes at the sky, calmly asking if he has come too soon to hear her answer about the proposal. Lily wonders why him, while Amber recalls their single dance. Amber reveals that Snake told him she was confused and gives her permission to refuse. He sadly misinterprets her stunned silence as dislike. She covers her mouth, shocked by his assumption. A cheerful chibi character offers thanks for the support. He sadly concludes that she must truly hate him. Overcome with regret, she feels she was incredibly rude. He reassures her, stating he won't force marriage on an unwilling queen. He admits that he was in too much of a hurry. She's taken aback, realizing she's never seen him with such an expression before. However, he asks that if she refuses, she wait a little longer. She agrees, but questions why refusing a proposal requires a procedure. Though confused, she agrees to his strange request. He offers a faint smile and excuses himself. His expression turns grim as he stands alone in the garden. Still in shock, she can't believe she just refused the king. With newfound determination, she believes she can change the future. Her brother Luder appears, asking if the king was just with her. Overwhelmed, she tearfully asks her brother what she should do. She confesses about the marriage proposal, adding that the king said she could refuse. She explains the proposal came in the letter from the castle. Luther sighs in understanding and reassures her he isn't blaming her for handling it alone. He grabs her arm, his gaze intense. He tells her he doesn't want a political marriage for her. Her brother insists that their family only wants her happiness. He decides they should keep the matter a secret from their parents. He suggests they end the engagement discreetly to avoid causing unnecessary worry. Relieved by his support, Lily agrees to his plan. She clutches her chest, a wave of ease washing over her. She wishes her past self had also confided in her brother. The scene shifts to a formal meeting between Lily and a dark-haired woman. Lily looks on with a guarded, surprised expression. The woman, Maria, thanks Lily for agreeing to meet her. Lily forces a polite smile, denying any inconvenience. Maria reveals the purpose of her visit as her father hands her a black letter. The focus shifts to the black, wax-sealed envelope in her hand. Lily's heart pounds as she watches anxiously. Maria reveals that Lord Amber also proposed to her. The shocking truth finally dawns on Lily. She realizes Amber allowed her to refuse because he also approached Princess Maria. To Maria's shock, Lily immediately agrees to withdraw from the proposal. Maria leaps to her feet, enraged by the easy acceptance. Lily calmly states that refusing was her intention all along. Maria smirks, a sly look crossing her face. A man with a mustache expresses relief that they avoided unnecessary conflict. He adds that he brought a lawyer just in case things went poorly. At the mention of a lawyer, Lily visibly flinches. She wonders what threats they would have made if she hadn't withdrawn. Maria smiles triumphantly, her victory assured. The man implies there would have been consequences, causing Lily to grip her dress tightly. Maria leans forward with a smug smile, asking Lily if she understands. She asserts her royal status, explaining that a marriage between two royals would be mutually beneficial for their kingdoms. Lily agrees with a serene smile, stating she was already planning to withdraw and that Maria's words have only strengthened her resolve. She calmly promises to inform the king of her decision the following day. Maria smiles victoriously, expressing her satisfaction that Lily is a reasonable person. Mustache Man turns to Maria, telling her he'll be counting on her as they prepare to leave. Bam! The double doors slam shut, leaving Lily alone in the wake of their departure. Lily sits alone on the grand blue sofa, her posture reflecting the weight of the confrontation. With a look of quiet determination, she reaffirms that her feelings on the matter won't change. The scene shifts to a different room, where King Amber sits slumped in a chair, surrounded by empty wine bottles. Outside, snow falls gently on the Harlan estate at night. Her brother Luder asks for her plan, and Lily confirms she will refuse the engagement. She explains that while the king asked her to wait, Maria's threat makes that impossible. She recalls her past life, realizing with horror that her death at Princess Maria's hands was not just a dream. Fearing Maria will harm the people she loves, she envisions her family's smiling faces. Gazing out the window, she decides to go to the castle tomorrow and speak directly with Lord Amber. Luder offers to go with her for support. Smiling gratefully, Lily declines his offer, insisting she will be fine on her own. The next day, a royal carriage arrives at the castle. From inside the carriage, Lily gazes out the window, recalling the day Amber came to her garden. She remembers how she once thought he was a kind person, but now knows otherwise. Realizing he sent the same proposal to Maria, she laments her past belief that he was a faithful man whose sights were set only on her. She admits she once thought his strictness was for her own good, but now she no longer understands him, though she is certain of one thing. She pictures Amber's back as he walks away, a symbol of her disillusionment. Her carriage stops, and she steps out to approach the grand castle entrance. A royal aide greets Duchess Harlan, but regretfully informs her that the king cannot grant her an audience at this time. Lily reacts with disbelief, unable to accept that she's being turned away. The aide presents her with a black, wax-sealed letter. He bows apologetically, explaining that His Majesty is currently resting in his bedchamber. Lily asks with concern if the king is unwell. The aide avoids the question, simply asking her to please come again another day. Left standing alone, she clutches the letter and wonders what she should do now. She gazes at the sealed envelope, her resolve hardening. She thinks that a single word is all she needs from him. Desperate, she shouts, "Stop!" as a golden clock face materializes, freezing the aide in place. A brilliant flash of light confirms her magic has taken hold. Lily looks at the frozen aide, time having stopped around them. Seeing her spell was a success, she prepares to move forward. Formally addressing the frozen man as Duke Sanal, she excuses herself. She walks past the motionless Duke, heading deeper into the castle. She makes her way down a long, sunlit corridor. She pauses for a moment, her expression filled with determination. Arriving before a grand, dark wood door, she's relieved to remember it as Amber's bedchamber. She reaches out and gently pushes the door open. Inside, she finds Amber lying on a chaise lounge, covered by a blanket. She sadly recalls that in their past life, they never once slept together. Peeking into the room, she suspects his claim of resting is merely a cover to meet with another woman. A wave of pain and jealousy washes over her as her suspicions grow. A sudden coughing fit from inside startles her. She calls out Lord Amber in alarm. Covering her mouth, she recoils from an unfamiliar smell emanating from the room. She sees Amber passed out on the floor, surrounded by empty wine bottles. She stares in shock at the sight of him, lying disheveled in a robe. Standing over him, she listens as he groggily asks, "What's wrong?" He opens his eyes slightly, murmuring her name, Lily. Her eyes widen as she surveys the room, realizing he's surrounded by a lot of alcohol. She looks down at him with concern, wondering why he would drink so much. Moving closer, she worriedly asks if he is all right. Wham! He suddenly grabs her wrist with surprising strength. Kia? She lets out a cry of surprise. He pulls her down, wrapping her in a desperate hug. Startled by the sudden embrace, she cries out again. He holds her tightly as she calls out Lord Amber. Mistaking her for someone else, he asks, "Amber, is that you?" before saying it makes him happy to hear that name, even in a dream. She realizes he is completely drunk. She tries to correct him, stating this isn't a dream and that she's here to give her answer. Pushing against him, she clarifies she's here about his letter of engagement. He acknowledges her reason for being there, adding, "It seems they can talk," and then sadly wonders if it's his fault things turned out this way. He pleads with her to believe that everything, including the engagement letters to her and Maria, was for her sake, leaving her utterly confused. She internally dismisses his words as the nonsensical ramblings of a drunk. He gently holds her face, confessing that he doesn't need anything but her. Her heart clenches as she thinks to herself that she can't believe his words. He leans in and kisses her, leaving her stunned and speechless. She thinks, "No way," as the kiss deepens. MMPH. The moment is captured in a shower of glittering light and flowers. Overwhelmed by the sensation, she realizes she's never experienced a kiss like this before. He holds her tenderly. Lost in the moment, he pulls back slightly, a faint, contented smile on his face. Coming to her senses, she pulls away and demands to know what he thinks he's doing. Leaning close, he whispers that he's simply loving her. His words leave her blushing and flustered. His eyes flutter as he slowly loses consciousness, murmuring her name, Amber. She calls his name in alarm as she realizes he's passing out. He groans softly before slumping against her. He pulls her down with him into the bed, holding her tight. As a chibi version shows him sleeping soundly, she tries in vain to wake him. She looks at the large bed, realizing he shows no signs of waking up. Trapped in his embrace, she finds his arm is too heavy for her to escape. She gazes at his peaceful face, realizing this is the expression he has when he sleeps. something she never knew because they never slept together. A small smile plays on her lips as she thinks he looks a little childish and even cute. Snuggling into his warmth, she admits she hasn't been able to sleep well with everything that's happened. Cradled against him, she feels her exhaustion catch up to her as she grows sleepy. She sighs, wishing they could have slept together like this when they were married. The scene shifts to a memory of a young boy, Amber, crying alone in a flower garden. A young Lily walks toward the crying boy. He looks up, surprised to see her, a tear rolling down his cheek. The young Lily asks why he's there, and he explains he got lost after slipping away from his parents. He rubs his eyes furiously, and she cries out in alarm. She gently wipes his tears away with a handkerchief. She gives him a kind smile, telling him something her mother always says. He looks at her gratefully and thanks her. Seeing he's lost, she offers to take him back, and he asks if she really will. In response, she asks for his name. A young Lily Harlan introduces herself with a cheerful smile. A young boy named Amber formally greets Lily. In a distant memory, she recalls walking hand in hand with him through a flower field. Their small hands are shown clasped together in a tender moment. The young boy calls out to Lily as she looks back, surprised. A close-up shows the floral pattern on her yellow dress. He presents her with a gift, a sparkling crystal butterfly brooch. Lily's eyes widen in awe at the beautiful gift. He asks her to be with him if they meet again in a better place. She agrees, sealing their promise amidst a garden of white flowers. In the present, Lily wakes from the nostalgic dream she hasn't had in years. She thinks about the brooch from her dream, which she's kept safe all this time. She sits up in bed, sleepily rubbing her eyes. A sudden realization strikes her as she remembers the previous night. She recalls the moment Amber pulled her into his arms. The memory of his kiss rushes back, causing her to blush intensely. A sudden noise from the doorway makes her flinch. She gasps in shock as a shirtless Amber appears with a towel. He calmly greets Princess Harlan, noting that she's awake. Mortified, she yanks the blanket over her head to hide. From under the covers, she yells for him to hurry up and get dressed. Now dressed, they sit apart as she apologizes for shouting, but he says it's fine. He admits he was also shocked when he awoke to find her in his arms. Flustered, she thinks she can't possibly admit she froze time to sneak in. She quickly fabricates a story, claiming she pressured his aide to let her inside. A chibi flashback shows her flustered excuse that she rushed in after hearing him cough. She apologizes for entering without knocking, but he dismisses her concern. She internally justifies her lie, thinking it's not entirely untrue. He advises her that as an unmarried woman, she should be more cautious. He confesses that waking up to find her beside him gave him quite a scare. The vivid memory of their kiss flashes in her mind, deepening her blush. She nervously agrees that her actions were reckless. He suggests that if she must enter a man's room, she should at least bring someone with her. It dawns on her with a jolt that he doesn't remember kissing her. Blushing furiously, she thinks it's unfair for him to kiss her and then forget. He asks if she is listening, making her jump. He then wonders aloud if something happened that he can't recall. She frantically insists nothing happened, claiming they just accidentally slept next to each other, to which he seems relieved. Bringing up the engagement letter, Lily states it's time he gave her an answer. A memory resurfaces of him desperately asking her to trust him. His drunken words that everything was for her, and he only needs her echo in her mind. Regaining her composure, she tells him she has something to ask. Are there any other candidates for queen besides myself? He gives a firm and simple answer. No. Stunned, she questions the purpose of the letter sent to Princess Maria. A promotional panel for the series encourages readers to support the official release. Lily looks on, completely bewildered by his contradictory statements. Amber says the country's future is his problem, but as king, he must eventually take a queen. She is left speechless, unsure how to respond to his declaration. He looks at her intently, asking if she came to refuse his proposal. Her gaze falls, her heart aching as she struggles with her answer. He tells her she cares about everyone around her and always tries to be gentle. He continues, saying this is why she puts others first and herself last. She wonders why he is talking as if he knows her so well. He declares that's why she should be queen, and that he still believes there is no one else. Blushing, she's stunned to realize he truly felt this way about her. But her hope is quickly overshadowed by a dark realization. She reminds herself not to be swayed, recalling that Princess Maria is aiming for the throne. For her family's sake, she thinks she cannot afford to get on Maria's bad side. Composing herself, she tells him his words are more honor than she deserves. She humbly reminds him that she is just a duchess. As she maintains a polite smile, he questions her mention of Maria. He asks with confusion why she would bring up a princess from another country. Holding up the envelope, she explains that Princess Maria visited her with a similar letter, which seems to fluster him. She inwardly wonders if he is trying to come up with an excuse. He gestures to the letter, firmly stating he only sent it to her. She recoils in shock at his statement. Standing up, he reiterates that he only proposed to her. Utterly confused, she wonders what he could possibly be talking about. She insists that she saw Princess Maria with her own eyes, holding a similar black envelope. For a moment, she questions what she saw, but then firmly decides she wasn't wrong. She realizes that Maria knew the letter's contents and came specifically to demand she give up the position of queen. He thoughtfully assures her that he is not doubting her. He tells her that if she says it happened, he believes it's likely true. He reveals that the only other person who knew of the proposal was his aide, Snake. Holding up his own letter, he explains it was supposed to be a confidential delivery. She recalls his aide delivering the letter and confirms to herself that he's telling the truth. Touching her lip, she realizes this is a major difference from her past life. When he offers to call his aide to testify, she hastily tells him she believes him. Sitting down, she's still puzzled about the existence of a second letter and how Maria knew its contents. He turns the focus back to her, asking why Princess Maria came to her in the first place. After a brief pause, she admits Maria told her to give up her position as queen. His eyes narrow with anger as he dismisses Maria's words as nonsense. She clenches her fists, wondering if she was a fool for not doubting Maria. She feels like an idiot for coming to him and pleading over what was clearly a lie. He gently places a comforting hand on her arm. She looks up, surprised, as he apologizes to her. Leaning in, he asks if Princess Maria's sudden visit scared her. She's taken aback, realizing he's genuinely worried about her. She looks away and insists that she is fine. He gently takes her hand into his own. Holding her close, he confesses he proposed to protect her and is deeply sorry he ended up hurting her. Her heart thumps as she's moved by his unexpected kindness. Looking at him now, she wonders if the terrible future she saw was only a bad dream. His gentleness makes her question her memories of the cold man he once was. Recalling his past self, she wishes that was the dream and that this kind man is the reality. She suddenly stands up, pulling away from him. He looks at her with concern, asking what's wrong. Alone in her thoughts, she remembers that in her past, Amber was a completely different person. Horrifying memories of a treacherous, insane Princess Maria flood her mind, and she realizes the danger is still very real. She considers Princess Maria's power, realizing she could have duplicated the letter while monitoring Amber. A chilling thought crosses her mind. What if Maria is still monitoring Amber right now? Her eyes widen in terror as she realizes Maria might even know what she's doing at this very moment. She stands frozen in the room with Amber. Trembling, she abruptly declares that she has to go home, leaving him confused. She turns to flee in a panic, announcing that she is leaving now. He grabs her wrist, refusing to let her go, and insists she stay for her own safety until they understand Maria's threat. Panicked, she pleads with him to let her go, crying out that her family could be in danger. His expression hardens as he questions her about her family. Cornered, she threatens to stop time if he continues to hold her there. She holds her ground with a nervous yet determined expression. He relents, offering to take her home himself, which catches her completely off guard. He explains his personal carriage will get her to her estate much faster. Utterly bewildered by his concern, she asks why he cares so much about her. He suggests they talk on the way, and she reluctantly nods in agreement. His aide, Snake, enters the room, asking how His Highness is feeling. Amber, holding Lily's hand, instructs Snake to reschedule his appointments, leaving the aide gaping in shock at the sight of them together. As Amber leads her away, he informs the still confused Snake that he won't be returning today. Snake gasps, blushing as he watches them depart hand in hand. A delighted Chibi Snake celebrates, thinking that His Highness is finally making a move. The scene transitions to a beautiful, cloud-filled sunset sky. Now on horseback, he holds her close, telling her to hold on tight as they gallop away. Blushing against the wind, she thinks the ride is so fast she might be thrown off. She finds it ironic that while she'll get home quickly, she has to be held so close to him. He reflects grimly that the one thing he did to try and help her only ended up causing her more pain, and his chest tightens with guilt. He embraces her tightly from behind, lost in his thoughts. He pulls back slightly, offering her a gentle, reassuring look. He gently asks why she suddenly needed to leave, reminding her she mentioned her family was in danger. Leaning into his embrace, She admits it might just be her overthinking things. She confesses her fear that Princess Maria might harm her family, leaving him stunned. With pained resolve, she formally states she does not wish to be queen and will accept any punishment. Looking up at him, she asks him to allow her to withdraw from consideration. His gaze softens with empathy as he apologizes for all the hardship she has endured. She looks at him, speechless at his apology. As they ride, he promises to speak with Princess Maria himself after he takes her home. He vows to subtly inform the princess that Lily is no longer a candidate for queen. Tears well in her eyes as she looks at him with profound gratitude and thanks him. She feels a wave of relief, thinking she has finally escaped the fate of marrying him. But her relief is shattered by painful, flashing memories of the cruel man he was in her past life. In a moment of clarity, she accepts that no matter which version of Amber he is, making this choice was for the best as they race onward. They finally arrive at her family's grand estate as evening falls. He helps her from the horse, and she thinks how grateful she is to be home before dark. After a quick thank you, she rushes up the steps, praying her family is safe. From outside, he watches her figure move down a long, windowed corridor. A click sounds as she opens a door, her expression turning to one of surprise. Inside, a woman with auburn hair sips tea beside a tower of cupcakes. Nearby, a man with dark hair smokes a pipe while calmly reviewing documents at his desk. As Lily calls out to her brother, Amber appears behind her, expressing his relief that they're all safe. Her hair flying in a panic, Lily cries out that her brother isn't here as Amber looks on with concern. With Amber standing behind her, Lily approaches a maid in the hall. She anxiously asks the maid if she has seen her brother. The maid asks if she means Lord Gim and tells her where she thinks he is. After a quick thank you, Lily rushes down the hall, and the maid calls after her as Amber follows. The scene transitions to a peaceful evening sky as leaves float by. In the garden, Lily desperately calls for her brother, praying for his safety. She stops, her expression hopeful as she seems to hear something. Spotting a silver-haired man by the roses, she calls out to her brother. A bright, relieved smile spreads across her face. Her brother Gim turns and says her name, Lily. From a balcony above, an unseen hand pushes a large urn as Amber sprints across the lawn below. The heavy urn plummets toward them as Amber yells for them to look out. Lily and her brother look up in shock as the urn falls directly toward them. Amber runs at full speed, racing to reach them in time. As Amber yells, "Stop!" Lily's eyes narrow with determination and the urn freezes midair. Crash! The urn shatters into pieces on the ground as Amber looks on. On the ground, Lily pants with relief, realizing she pushed her brother to safety just in time. Amber watches them from a distance, looking serious and thoughtful. Gim groans, "Ouch!" as he and Lily sit on the ground amidst the shattered porcelain. Her brother asks if she's okay, and Lily confirms she is. She touches her cheek, a look of realization dawning on her face. She gasps in horror, crying out that her brother is bleeding. Gim glances down at his injured leg and casually agrees that he is. Panicked, Lily insists they have to treat his injury right away. Amber approaches them, calmly offering to carry her brother. Gim looks up, stunned into silence as he recognizes the king. Amber helps the injured Gim to his feet, telling him not to worry about formalities. He gives Lily a gentle, reassuring look. The scene transitions to an elegant room, seen from outside a large window at dusk. Now seated inside, Lily thanks Amber, who says he's just glad her brother's injury was minor. Amber smiles, relieved that the injury wasn't serious. His expression turns serious as he tells her there's something he'd like to ask. She looks at him inquisitively, asking what it is. She forces a nervous smile and asks what he could possibly mean. He tells her not to hide it, revealing that he has a natural resistance to magic. Whoosh! He demonstrates by making a piece of paper burst into flames in his hands. Lily cries out for his hand, but he calmly reassures her he's fine, explaining the paper contained fire magic. He explains that while it would harm a normal person, the magic has no effect on him. Lily realizes with a start that this must be why he noticed her use her powers before. He reveals his mother was from Junil, a magical country, as an image of a beautiful sorceress appears. She learns that Junil is the only place where the ancient magic, now declined, still exists. She processes the shocking revelation that this powerful woman was Amber's mother. Overwhelmed by the news, she gasps, suddenly worried about how expensive the magical paper he just burned was. He explains that magic has been mostly ineffective against him his entire life. He adds that his immunity is a secret, prompting her to ask if he should be telling her. He turns the question back on her, reminding her that her own power is a secret as well. With a gentle smile, he explains that sharing a secret is the first step to building trust. He concludes that a power that only nullifies magic has little meaning on its own. Conflicted, she wonders if she should reveal her ability to him. She makes him promise to keep her secret. After much deliberation, she confesses that she can stop time. She explains discovering her power after the incident with the duplicated invitations. She decides not to mention her time regression. Sure, he would never believe her. His expression reveals her confession has only confirmed his suspicions. He admits he suspected she had powers ever since they met at the ball. She is stunned that her time-stopping magic had no effect on Amber. Unaware of his immunity, she recalls her futile attempts to escape him. She cringes, thinking she must have looked ridiculous. She asks if his interest in her is because he proposed marriage to someone. He gently denies her assumption, saying that's not it. Blushing, he confesses that he simply couldn't stop remembering her face. He smiles warmly and promises to respect her decision, whatever it may be. She listens with a somber, downcast expression. His tone shifts as he gravely warns her that Princess Maria is dangerous. He reminds her of the recent attack that injured her brother, emphasizing the threat. She finds his offer generous but hesitates to accept his help. He vows to provide discreet support and investigate the duplicated letters himself. He adds that he will also investigate a potential infiltrator in her mansion. He agrees with her caution, warning that nations would fight over her if her power became known. He speculates that her power could evolve from simply perceiving stopped time to manipulating it. Her heart thumps as she considers the shocking possibility of truly manipulating time. She is awestruck, imagining herself floating amidst the very fabric of time. She agrees that possessing such an incredible power would indeed be dangerous. He reassures her, vowing to protect her with his own ability to nullify magic. A tense silence fills the room following his powerful declaration. She politely declines his help, not wanting to trouble his majesty. Her unexpected refusal leaves him momentarily surprised. She concedes that borrowing his power would certainly make her safer. However, she worries it would attract the unwanted attention of Princess Maria. She fears that his involvement could ultimately put her family in even greater danger. She smiles brightly, announcing her plan to hide away at a health resort for a while. He listens to her plan in complete silence. After a moment, he closes his eyes and lets out a soft chuckle. He tells Lady Harlan that he seems to have greatly underestimated her. Phew, she lets out a quiet sigh of relief. He tells her to forget what he said before, but to remember one important thing. Turning to leave, he promises that he will always lend her his aid. His unwavering promise leaves her silent and thoughtful. He apologizes for keeping her so long, and she thanks him for the escort. Smiling, she sincerely thanks him for his invaluable help with her brother. As seen from outside, he humbly replies that it was nothing. She asks if he's returning to the castle, and he confirms that's his plan. She worries about him making such a long trip back, with almost no rest. Out of concern, she offers to arrange a carriage and an escort for him. He graciously declines her offer, then changes the subject to something more important. He asks a critical question: who else knows she can stop time? He presses her again, wanting to know who else shares her secret. She confirms no one else knows, and he warns her to keep it that way, revealing he put up a barrier for their talk and advising her to remain cautious even at home. She asks in disbelief when he put up the barrier. He calmly replies that he created it the moment he entered the room. Amber warns that she must be more careful than ever, as it would be dangerous for them both if his immunity to magic were discovered. She wishes him a safe trip back to the castle, and he promises he will be. With a gentle expression, he hopes her brother recovers quickly. She thanks him as he mounts his horse and rides away from the mansion. Her expression softens as she watches him leave. She believes she has finally escaped the fate of becoming queen. Clink. A jeweled pin falls from her dress and lands on the floor. Noticing the fallen pin, she picks it up and decides she should return it to him. With a heavy heart, she clutches the pin and thinks of Amber. She cries, realizing she has severed her connection with him. Her brother's voice calls her name, Lily, startling her. He approaches with concern, asking why she is crying. Blushing, she wipes her eyes and claims she just got dust in them. Her brother seems unconvinced, but accepts her simple explanation. A dark memory flashes through her mind of her brother's fated logging accident. Gasp, she realizes that even though she prevented the urn, her brother still injured his leg. Resolving to stay vigilant, she thinks she cannot let her guard down. Holding the pin close, she decides to return it to him through a letter. She reaffirms her decision not to see Amber again. Turning to her brother, she suggests a trip to a health resort for his recovery. Her brother agrees that taking it slow sounds nice, and she smiles, pleased with their plan as they look toward a resort manor. Amber rides swiftly through the moonlit countryside. He pauses, looking back as if sensing something is amiss. A grand, unfamiliar carriage approaches the palace gates. Amber turns his horse, looking back toward the palace with a serious expression. Arriving back, he dismounts and approaches the strange carriage, wondering about the guest. An aide named Snake welcomes His Majesty back, confirming he was waiting for him. Amber asks if the visitor is now in the guest room. Snake confirms that the guest insisted on waiting and is staying overnight. With a determined look, Amber states he was planning to speak with her anyway. As a door opens, a smirking Princess Maria is revealed in a lavish red dress. She thanks Lord Amber for the breakfast invitation. Amber glares at her with a cold, unreadable expression. Princess Maria announces she's full as a maid clears her untouched plate. Amber dismisses the maids, asking to be left alone with the princess. The servants depart, leaving the two royals alone at the long dining table. He addresses her coolly as Princess Maria, asking the purpose of her visit. She remains silent, delicately dabbing her lips with a napkin. She playfully chides him for being impatient and not enjoying small talk. Amber sips her tea, observing that her sudden overnight visit must be important. He repeats his thought that her sudden visit must concern an important matter. Princess Maria laughs, telling him there's no need to be formal between them. He asks what the matter is, and she claims it's nothing serious, just a chat between neighbors. She probes him about marriage, reminding him the ball was held to find him a wife. A thought bubble reveals her true intent to discuss romance with Amber. He bluntly replies that he is a dull man. He adds that he is not good at lighthearted conversations. Getting straight to the point, he declares he is considering her a candidate for queen. Princess Maria blushes in disbelief, thinking her father never mentioned this. Amber clarifies that he has not yet spoken to the King of Alta. A look of dawning comprehension crosses her face as she understands. She smiles gleefully, thinking a marriage alliance would be most welcome. He tempers her excitement, stating it is only a consideration for now. With a serious gaze, he states that the queen must be chosen wisely. He calls her a strong candidate, asking if she has any prior engagements. Princess Maria confidently replies that she does not have a fiancé. She muses that she has wanted to marry Amber for some time. He warns that this information must not leak to the King of Alta. Stepping closer, he tells her there is one more thing. He instructs her to conduct herself in a manner befitting a queen candidate. She coyly asks if he simply means she should behave with decorum. Hugged, she embraces him, saying she's always been a princess. She is relieved, thinking his condition is surprisingly simple. He warns her to keep her distance, as being seen like this would be a disaster. He questions her understanding of the word decor him. Feigning innocence, she smiles and says she understands. As he walks away, she watches with a sly, knowing look. He watches from a window as Princess Maria's carriage departs. His aide approaches, asking if His Majesty is serious. The aide presses further, asking if he's really considering marrying her. Amber replies that his consideration is only on the surface, revealing that Princess Heron has... He explains that Lily rejected the position and orders his aide to keep it confidential, confusing the aide about his purpose. He orders a discreet guard to be sent to protect Princess Heron. Acknowledging the troublesome situation, he instructs his aide to use a barrier when they speak from now on. He sighs, admitting that even the castle isn't completely safe. Looking over the castle grounds, he resolves to monitor Princess Maria himself. The scene shifts to Princess Maria arriving in her room, attended by her servants. She scoffs to herself, mockingly repeating his demand for decorum. Her carriage rolls away under a vibrant sky. In the carriage, she smirks, thinking Amber has underestimated her too. Her expression darkens with the realization that he's trying to protect Lily Heron. With a cruel smile, she vows to crush Lily Heron, convinced an undetected crime goes unpunished. Arriving home, she is greeted by her staff and immediately asks for a letter from her father. Her expression falls as she reads the letter's contents. She walks alone up the grand staircase. Stopping, she dismisses her attendants and demands to be left alone. A look of grim determination sets on her face. She rushes through the ornate hall. Entering her room, she collapses onto her bed. As she lies in the dark, a single tear escapes her eye. A painful memory surfaces of her younger self peeking from behind a pillar. She recalls watching her mother dance with another man, feeling the sting of a loveless childhood. The memory of the couple's passionate kiss flashes in her mind. Her younger self cries, calling out for her mother in vain. The memory continues, showing the heartbroken child sobbing as two maids look on. The maids rush to comfort the distraught young princess. She weeps uncontrollably in their arms, her face a mask of sorrow. Memory of a grand ballroom shows two couples dancing, separated by a large pillar. In the memory, a young girl with brown hair looks down sadly as a man gives her a teddy bear. Her deepest wishes were never fulfilled. A woman with long dark hair and purple eyes smirks, standing beside a serious man in a formal white uniform. The story focuses on a handsome, dark-haired man before showing him leaning intimately toward a woman. A dark-haired woman angrily questions why she can't marry him, demanding to know who is stopping them. A king tells a young woman named Maria that he has given her everything she has ever wanted. He continues, explaining that there are some things in the world that simply can't be helped as she looks downcast. She questions him in disbelief, asking if he means the man she desires is out of her reach, and vowing that she has always gotten what she wants. Floating in darkness, she fiercely declares that this man will not be an exception. Her glowing purple eye reflects her determination as she vows to have Amber Ricardo. In a flashback, a man admits he had to see a woman one last time, even if it meant hiding his feelings, while a mysterious figure runs down a hallway. A maid rushes in, asking a dark-haired woman what happened, then reveals Lord Amber sent a marriage proposal to Lady Heron, the contents of which she personally confirmed. The woman asks her maid if she can forge Amber-sama's handwriting, and the maid replies with a confident of course. She embraces a man from behind, plotting that if another queen candidate appears, she believes that by continuously approaching Lord Amber, he will eventually notice her, as a letter is stamped with a wax seal. Lying in bed, she resolves not to let her guard down and to execute her plan perfectly. With a sinister smile, she declares her unwavering goal, to become queen. The scene shifts to a sunny room where a blonde woman begins packing a briefcase. She stands with a melancholic expression, letting out a soft, weary sigh. Holding a letter, she decides to give it to him when she leaves tomorrow, bidding a silent farewell to Amber. She pauses while packing, remembering something she almost forgot in her jewelry box. She picks up an ornate pin, deciding she should take it with her. Pleased the repair was done on time, she fastens a jeweled butterfly into her hair before helping with preparations. Gazing out the window, she feels a sense of relief that everyone has agreed to her plans. Outside, two maids by a carriage wonder about the family's sudden decision to go to a sanatorium. An older maid explains the trip is for Master Gim's recovery from a leg injury. She notes how strange it is that a large food order arrived, as it was supposed to have been canceled for their trip. The maid ponders the strangeness of the situation, a thoughtful hand on her chin. As Lily and her brother observe the fruit baskets, he asks if something is wrong. A maid reports that the Oastdale Bridge on their route is broken, shocking Lily. As a scout is sent to confirm, Lily realizes that a detour will cause a significant delay. She worries that the delay will be troublesome, as they will have to stop at an inn for the night. Lily suspiciously wonders if this is a trap set by Lady Maria, and decides to wait for the scout's report. She concludes that, either way, it will be difficult to leave today. A maid confirms they'll be late, and adds that there seems to be a mistake with the recent food order. Finding a mistake unusual, Lily remains optimistic that things will somehow work out. Lily enters her father's study, and he informs her that the scout has returned. Her father reports that the Oastdale Bridge is collapsing after heavy mountain rains, and is now under repair. Lily looks down, disheartened by the unfortunate news. Her eyes well with tears as she laments the terrible timing, frustrated by her desire to leave soon. She thinks about the limits of her time-stopping power, knowing she can only use it 3 times a day for a total of 30 minutes. Clasping her hands anxiously, she worries that if something bad happens out of her sight, she won't be able to help. She thinks of her mother and brother, fearing she won't be able to save them if they are in danger. A single tear escapes and runs down her cheek. Her father comforts her, suggesting they shouldn't hurry and can wait for the bridge to be fixed. He adds that her brother Gimu can use the time to rest his injury at the mansion. Looking up at her father, Lily agrees with his suggestion. She takes a moment to compose herself, her expression becoming more resolved. Her father smiles, reasoning that it's a good thing they discovered the problem before they left. Forcing a smile, Lily agrees that her father is right. Lily wonders if she should inform Amber about the collapsed bridge. She decides against it, telling herself not to rely on him. Walking down the hall, she resolves to think positively as her father advised. She finds her brother and asks about his leg, but he reassures her it was just a minor twist. He then asks her about the collapsed Oastdale Bridge, which she confirms. With a concerned look, she wonders what is happening. Her brother speculates something is afoot, mentioning sudden royal orders and castle messages, but Lily denies knowing anything about the bridge. He seems to see through her. He admits he was excited when she suddenly suggested the retreat. Her brother looks at her, deep in thought. He advises her not to dwell on his majesty. Flustered, Lily insists the king is not relevant to her plans. She looks away, denying any romantic involvement. Her brother bluntly asks if the king likes her. Lily looks shocked and speechless at his direct question. She remembers that this all began with Amber's proposal. She worries that revealing the truth to her brother would also mean telling him about Lady Maria. He startles her out of her thoughts, asking why she's so tense. He reveals he knows something is up, as she's been fiddling with an envelope all day. A flustered Lily is caught completely off guard. She explains she meant to return it, but their trip was postponed. As she considers giving the letter to someone else to deliver, her brother asks if she truly wants to see him. Looking downcast, Lily remains silent. As a storm brews outside, she thinks she can't see him anymore, as it would only cause trouble. She reaffirms her decision that they won't meet again. As lightning strikes, she finds comfort in her power to stop time. A mysterious hooded man stands defiantly on a cliff amidst the storm. The scene shifts to a grand mansion basking in sunlight. Princess Maria reclines, smugly assuming Lily Heron is now a drowned corpse. A man enters, interrupting to report to Lady Maria, who asks what it is. He leans in and whispers the news into her ear. Maria is shocked to hear that Lady Harlan has postponed her trip. Her conspirator explains their trap on the bridge was activated prematurely by the heavy rain. Maria erupts in anger, accusing her men of messing up, though the man insists they followed her plan for the bridge to collapse with the carriage on it. Kya. She furiously swipes a table clear of food, screaming that she wants no excuses. Fuming, she thinks her minions are completely useless for failing such a simple task. She calms herself, deciding it's fine. A sinister smile spreads across her face as she reveals she has other plans prepared. A maid rushes into the room, calling for Lady Maria. The maid announces Lord Amber's arrival, surprising Maria. She wonders about his unannounced visit, musing that he might be interested in her. Composing herself, Maria tells the maid she'll be right there. The maid on the floor timidly asks if she is going to see him. Maria pauses, explaining that making a man wait makes a woman more desirable. She asks her maid to make her look cute to show a different side of herself to Lord Amber. Lord Amber waits patiently. Sitting alone in a lavish room, now in a vibrant red dress, Princess Maria greets him, apologizing for the wait. He politely invites her to sit. Sitting across from him, she listens as he informs her that a bridge has collapsed. She feigns surprise, internally concluding he suspects her but has no proof. Maria questions his reason for coming, and he explains he was concerned about delayed logistics. He adds that the envoy from Alta must also be stuck, leading her to reconsider her suspicions while he reassures her. Maria smirks, privately mocking the idea that a single collapsed bridge in Ostale would trouble her. Amber startles her by asking how she knew the collapsed bridge was specifically Ostale's bridge. He points out that he never mentioned the bridge was from Ostale, catching her in a lie. Flustered, Maria stammers that she simply assumed it was the bridge on the route to Alta. She leaps to her feet, defensively accusing him of suggesting she caused the collapse. Amber calmly confirms, "That's exactly what I'm suggesting." Sighing dramatically, Maria denies the accusation, asking what she would possibly gain from such an act. Amber asks if she intends to play dumb, but she insists it's the truth, and challenges him for proof. He sits in silence, his expression stern and unwavering. A man and a maid rush in, interrupting the tense confrontation to address Maria. Maria looks up, shocked by their sudden appearance. The man reports they have secured evidence and detained suspects near the bridge, whose testimony is forthcoming, warning her not to even think about running. Amber calmly adds that her mansion is completely surrounded as well. Cornered, Maria looks down before breaking into a sinister, maniacal laugh. Finding the situation amusing, she admits she's been found out, prompting Amber to ask if she's finally confessing. Leaning in with a crazed smile, she menacingly asks if he thinks this is everything. The scene shifts to a quiet storeroom filled with barrels. A servant complains about the recent chaos and messy deliveries while beginning to organize the storeroom. He pauses his work, sensing something is amiss. Returning to the confrontation, Maria repeats her chilling question, her eyes glinting with malice. As Amber demands to know her meaning, she reveals another plan is already succeeding, setting fire to the Harlan mansion. With a gleeful smile, She wonders aloud if the fire has started by now. A bead of sweat runs down Amber's face as the horrifying realization dawns on him. Maria taunts that even on horseback, he won't make it in time as Amber begins to move. Enraged, Amber orders his guards to capture her immediately. An aide urges him to stay calm, warning of a trap, but Maria coolly confirms her threat is real. She vows to drag him to hell with her, adding that if he leaves now, Lily Harlan might still have breath left. She erupts in deranged laughter, mocking that Lily might already be charred black. Amber orders an aide named Snake to handle Maria, sends for reinforcements, and rushes off to the Harlan estate, desperately praying he makes it in time for Lily. Back in the storeroom, the servant opens a barrel and recoils, realizing it's not food and has a strange smell. Identifying the contents as fuel, he wonders why it's there, and decides he must report this to his master. Whoa, he's suddenly stopped by a maid who has appeared behind him. The maid stands silently behind him, near the open barrel of fuel. She viciously strikes the servant, knocking him unconscious. Relieved that her plan was nearly ruined, but now she won't have to face Lady Maria's wrath. The maid pours the flammable liquid all over the storeroom floor, and then lights a match. With cold determination, she drops the lit match. Whoosh! The fuel instantly ignites into a raging inferno. Elsewhere, Lily holds a letter, a look of unease on her face. She notices a strange light and turns to the window to see the horrifying reflection of a massive fire engulfing part of the mansion. A maid bursts into the room, screaming for her to evacuate immediately. Lily stares in wide-eyed shock and horror. The maid grabs her hand, urging her to hurry as they flee the room. Outside with other evacuees, a man directs everyone to move quickly, noting the fire is still manageable from their current location. Lily is carefully helped out of a window by her maid to escape the spreading flames. Safely outside, Lily looks around in a panic, realizing her father, mother, and brother are missing as the mansion burns behind her. Her gown now stained with soot, she looks back at the blaze with tearful determination, vowing to save them. The staff watches in shock as Lily grabs a heavy bucket of water, ready to run back into the fire. A maid desperately holds her back, warning her that the first floor is completely engulfed, and going back is certain death. Looking down with resolve, Lily simply says, "I'm sorry." The maid seems to understand her intent, as Lily gently pulls her hand away. Lily reaffirms that she must save them as a brilliant golden light begins to emanate from her body, signaling the use of her power. Lily declares she can save them because she has this power. Resolved, Lily notes she can only stop time for 1 minute, 3 times, and must hurry as she reaches out. A man's hand suddenly grabs her wrist, stopping her, as a concerned Amber asks what she's thinking. Startled, Lily calls out Amber's name and asks why he is there, as he warns her to consider the worst-case scenario. She desperately explains her family is trapped inside, and Amber, after a moment's thought, agrees to go with her. Amidst the roaring flames, Amber advises her to cast the spell from a secure location. As the inferno rages, he tells her they must hurry. Now carrying Lily, Amber listens as she gives him a general idea of her family's location. She then asks why he is really here. He grimly informs her that Princess Maria confessed to starting the fire. A look of horrified realization dawns on Lily's face. She realizes Maria might have also been responsible for the collapsed bridge. Feeling cornered by Maria once again, Lily is startled when Amber asks if she was a nuisance to him, which she quickly denies. Smiling with genuine gratitude, Lily thanks him for his help, and he tells her he's glad. Amber reveals he's arranged for aid and that Princess Maria has already been subdued and taken to prison, surprising Lily. Lily questions the decision, noting Maria's royal status, but Amber sternly states that her crime was unforgivable. The scene shifts to guards escorting a carriage, as a man protests that Maria is a princess of the Alta Kingdom. An ally of Maria's, a black-haired woman, furiously demands to know if they think it's acceptable to treat a princess so carelessly. An official calmly states that it doesn't matter, as he has permission and mentions a delayed message. Smirking in disbelief, Maria resists as guards order her into the prison carriage. Maria violently struggles, screaming for the guard to take his hand off her. Dragged away, she lets out a final, desperate scream of no. The prison carriage rumbles through a quiet town street at night. Seething in the darkness of the carriage, Maria vows she will never forgive them. Her eyes filled with hate, she promises she won't forgive them even if they die. Back at the mansion, Amber and Lily stand before a burning door where she believes her parents are. After Lily finds the door stuck, Amber steps forward, telling her to leave it to him. He observes that the fire has weakened the door's structure and warns her to step back. Boom! Amber powerfully kicks the weakened door open. Stepping inside, Lily gasps in shock as she spots her parents in the room below and calls out to them. Amber directs Lily's brother to carry Duke Harlan first. Amber swiftly tears down a large curtain from a nearby window. As Amber prepares the cloth, Lily says she will go get her mother. Amber gently tells her not to overexert herself, promising they can go back again. He reassures her he will save everyone and tells her to focus on her magic. She tearfully agrees. Lily and her brother begin evacuating their parents from the blaze. While being carried through a window, Lily wonders why Amber is helping her so much. She remembers the old Amber who ignored her and was secretly allied with Princess Maria, the one who betrayed her. Surrounded by fire, she questions if her past was a dream and if this new reality is true. Recalling Maria in chains, she realizes how different he is now and wonders if he truly captured the princess for her sake. Lost in thought, she looks at his back, questioning if his past indifference was all a lie. He gently drapes a cloak over her shoulders, and she wonders if this is the real Amber. He asks if something is wrong, and she says no. Now safely on the lawn with others, Amber asks if her magic is still holding up. Standing, Lily assures him that she will recast the spell soon. Lily recasts her time-stopping magic, golden rings glowing around her, and confirms it's done. Amber agrees they'll rescue the madam next. As she turns to go, a shimmering blue butterfly brooch falls from her dress. Amber recognizes the brooch and kneels to pick it up, telling Your Majesty she dropped it. Returning to the Inferno, Amber carries Lily's mother while she follows with her brother, and he asks if she is all right. Resting against him, Lily says she's fine since time has stopped, but reflects that she couldn't have saved everyone alone, feeling a pang of sorrow. Lily stumbles from exhaustion, and Amber catches her. He asks if she's okay before urging her to hurry. Amber tells a confused Lily that she kept her promise to treasure the brooch, stunning her by revealing he was the one who gave it to her. In a sunlit memory, a young Amber offers the butterfly brooch, telling Lily he wants her to have it. He explains with a blush that his mother told him it's a charm to protect those who are precious. The young Amber earnestly asks her to keep it close and hopes they can meet properly again someday. Looking at her with hopeful eyes, he begins to ask her a question. The scene snaps back to the present, viewing the two of them through a barred window in the blazing mansion. Looking up at Amber amidst the flames, Lily feels a pang of guilt. She reflects on how flustered the proposal made her, realizing it was connected to a promise she'd forgotten. She now understands that all of Amber's actions were born from kindness. Recalling their kiss, she finds it strange, but touching that he would remember a promise made when they were children. As the fire rages around them, she realizes she never knew Amber was such a romantic. Lily turns to him and asks if his kindness stems from their childhood promise. Amber smiles, admitting it's one reason, but not the sole reason he proposed. A memory shows them as young adults, walking hand in hand down a gilded hallway. He recalls that after becoming a contender for the throne, they inevitably grew apart. A memory of his younger self shows a pained and conflicted expression. In the past, he turned his back on her, creating a painful distance between them. As they walk away from each other, he silently tells himself it's nothing. Amber reflects that, as the king's brother, he couldn't choose a partner based on feelings, and couldn't admit he'd thought of her all this time. He concludes that he proposed because he judged her to be a suitable choice. Now, understanding the promise, Lily processes this new information as they stand in the fire. She gasps, realizing with shock that the brooch belonged to his mother, the late queen. Memory surfaces of a beautiful, dark-haired woman, his mother, who could also use magic. He remembers standing grief-stricken before his mother's coffin as a boy. Lily looks down, wondering if it was really okay for him to give her such a precious gift after they had only met once. He looks at her with a gentle smile, affirming that he believes he made a good choice. Amber remembers his difficult childhood, when he was sensitive to the lies of those who feigned kindness after his mother's death. He recalls his mother giving him the pendant, telling him its magic would always protect him. His eyes widen as the word magic suddenly clicks into place with a horrifying realization. He realizes that in every past life where he found her, the protective brooch was always broken. Standing in the fire, he laments that even with this realization, it's now too late. He turns to a stunned Lily, addressing her as the Duchess of Heron and asking what's wrong. In utter shock, she asks if he just said she was repeating time. Amber's eyes widen, intently asking if she is also experiencing it. As golden rings of power surround them, she asks in disbelief if he is repeating time too. He calmly addresses her again as the Duchess of Heron, confirming her suspicion. With a grim expression, he asks her how many times she has restarted her life. Lily explains that if her past was real, then this is her first time restarting, to which Amber acknowledges her answer. He then drops a bombshell, revealing he has restarted countless times, leaving her speechless. A tragic memory shows him holding her bloody body, lamenting that he married her only to let her die. A promotional banner for the series is displayed. They stand together, facing the raging inferno consuming the mansion's corridors. Lily is completely stunned, her mind reeling as she tries to comprehend that Amber has been repeating time over and over. He explains that what she thought was a nightmare was real, as a memory shows him holding her lifeless body in the rain. Amber's voiceover continues, revealing that time rewound every time she died, as he's shown weeping over her. In the pouring rain, he knew instantly that her death was not a dream. He carries her limp body through a field of flowers, the rain falling around them. Looking down at her blood-stained lips, he desperately wonders why she always ends up dying. He recounts his futile efforts to protect her, locking her away and assigning guards, but she always died, without fail. In a tragic memory, a tear falls from Amber's eye as he kisses her forehead. As he holds her lifeless body, the butterfly brooch glows, and magic rewinds time. Kneeling in a grand room, Amber realizes with weary dread that he is back again. Covering his face in anguish, he desperately wonders who on earth keeps killing Lily. With glowing eyes, he kneels before a window and vows that he has to protect her. In another memory, he coldly tells Lady Lily not to leave the tower. Amber looks down sorrowfully at a bouquet of white roses splattered with blood. Back in the present, he leads her through the fire, saying they must help her brother first. He stops before a door, confirming her brother's room is inside. After Lily cries out for her brother, who lies unconscious amidst the flames, Amber directs her to bring him a cloth. She rips a large golden fabric and asks if it will suffice. Amber takes the cloth from her as they prepare to rescue her brother from the fire. Carrying her brother, Amber tells her it's time to go, and she quietly agrees. As he carries her brother to safety, Amber thinks he's finally beginning to understand. He explains to a confused Lily that his realization is about the brooch he gave her. He recalls wondering how its magic could affect him despite his immunity. A memory shows his beautiful, long-haired mother holding a glowing light between her hands. A pained young Amber reflects on giving her the brooch with all his heart, never expecting this outcome. The narration explains the brooch responded to her desperate wish not to die. Amber tells her that the circumstances of her last death, however, may have been different. He asks if she imbued the brooch with a new wish, and Lily remembers desperately wanting to undo their marriage and start over. She realizes this must be why she is repeating time, gaining her power specifically to escape him. She concludes she must have retained her memories this time to finally break the cycle. Amber theorizes that he is simply being drawn into her powerful magic. He continues, telling her it feels as if he is caught up in her magic. Lily asks if he kept his memories because of his immunity to magic, which he confirms is likely. Lily understands she retained her memories to achieve her goal of escaping him. She feels a pang of sympathy, realizing how much pain Amber must have endured being trapped in the loop. He reassures her it's good. For now, they know Maria is the mastermind, and promises she won't have to witness death again. He looks at her with conviction as they stand together in the blazing corridor. He declares with finality that there will be no more repeating, no more starting over. Lily gazes up at him, absorbing his heartfelt promise. Amber emerges from the inferno, carrying her unconscious brother on her shoulder. Safely outside, he hands her brother over to a cloaked figure among a group of survivors. Whew! Wiping his chin, Amber sighs in relief and asks if everyone has been evacuated. A butler points toward the survivors as a maid looks on. The maid turns to Lily, confirming that she believes everyone is safe. Amber suggests they do one last check, asking if Lily can use her magic again. Looking weary but determined, Lily agrees with his suggestion. Standing beneath a tree, she prepares to cast her spell one last time. As golden light swirls around her, she closes her eyes and activates her magic. Amber announces he is heading out and tells her to wait for him. As he turns to leave, Lily watches him go with a worried and conflicted expression. She suddenly rushes forward, insisting that she's coming with him. An informational banner for the series is shown. Repeating her plea, Lily firmly tells him she is coming with him. He turns back, promising her he will return immediately as she calls him Your Majesty. With a look of genuine fear, she asks what she's supposed to do if something happens to him. He looks at her softly, simply saying her name, Lily. Looking up at him with resolve, she agrees to his plan. The two of them stand together on a balcony, surrounded by the raging mansion fire. Lily realizes with shock that Amber was also repeating time as they walk through the fire. She reflects on only thinking of herself, never considering his feelings, and vows that it ends now. A notification reveals that after Lily Harlan's suspicious death, Princess Maria was apprehended as the mastermind. With Maria captured, Lily believes time will no longer repeat, and their painful paths will finally diverge. She resolves to refuse his proposal to end the magic, allowing him to be king while she remains Lady Harlan. Though this should make her happy, she clutches her chest, wondering why her heart hurts so much. Amber urges them to return, saying that while her magic should hold, they can't let their guard down. He asks Lady Harlan if she's tired, but she insists she's fine. Amber's expression hardens with grim determination. He turns to her, asking if she is okay after using her magic, but she seems confused by his concern. Noticing her weary and sweaty appearance, he points out that she's sweating a lot. He gently touches her face, realizing the magic took more out of her than expected. He insists they must get out of the blazing mansion immediately. Amber explains that her magic is tied to her condition, so there's no guarantee it will last. She starts to protest, but he reaches for her hand to lead her. With a gentle smile, he offers to carry her out of the fire. Flustered, she pulls back, insisting it's not necessary. He apologizes if he upset her, explaining that he is genuinely worried about her. He asks her to stay close so he can help her at any moment, and she quietly agrees. He suggests they leave the mansion, checking for survivors on their way, and she agrees. Wiping sweat from her brow, Lily worries that Amber might be right about her condition. Suddenly a flaming support beam begins to crumble above them. As she nearly falls, he catches her and asks if she's okay. She apologizes for stumbling, and he urges her to hurry. Panting heavily, Lily looks utterly exhausted. Believing she's just a burden, she reaches for him, but he immediately denies it, saying he's never thought that. With a pained expression, she sadly admits that she does. Confused, he asks why, as she holds out the butterfly brooch. She tells him to take the brooch and run, believing it will stop them from repeating this tragedy. Overwhelmed with exhaustion, she says she can't drag him into her troubles any longer. He grabs her hand, vowing he will always save her, no matter how many times they restart. Clasping the brooch on his own chest, Amber confesses that he loves her. Her heart skips a beat as she looks up at him, completely stunned by his words. Staring into his eyes amidst the flames, she breathlessly wonders if he truly loves her. An explosion suddenly rips through the mansion behind them, Lily Amber yells, pulling her into a protective embrace as debris rains down. His eyes are wide with alarm as danger closes in. He yells, "Look out!" and shoves her away from a collapsing section of the ceiling. Lily cries out, tumbling backward in a different, blue dress from another time. She screams his name as he lies crushed and bleeding beneath the fiery rubble. Her eyes widen in absolute horror and disbelief. Crying his name again, she sees him groan in pain and desperately rushes to save him. "You have to run," he pleads, but she defiantly shouts, "Number..." She grabs his bloodied hand, declaring, "I'll save you." In this moment of terror, she finally understands his feelings and regrets, having doubted him for so long. Remembering a past moment where she believed he'd betrayed her, she now realizes the truth. She recalls the kind boy from her youth, finally understanding he was Lord Amber all along. Tears streaming down her face, she resolves to cast the powerful fourth spell she's never successfully used. A brilliant light erupts from her hands as she channels her magic into his arm. She cries out from the sheer force of the powerful spell. Overcome with grief, Lily wipes her face. As blood trickles from her lips, she realizes this is the fourth time. Amber, trapped beneath the rubble, begs her to stop, warning that using more magic will cost her life. But, she cries out, unwilling to accept his fate. Amber smiles peacefully, telling her to run because he did what he wanted to do. He thinks with relief and no regrets that he finally protected her. He lies still and broken beneath the heavy slab of stone. "No," Lily cries, collapsing in the fiery ruins and asking in agony why he would save her. Lost in sorrow, she tearfully wonders why he would go so far for her. In a memory, a younger Amber asks her for a dance. She recalls him confessing he needed no one but her. In another memory, he furiously demands to know what she was thinking. Sobbing over her bloody hands, she realizes with horror that she never told him she loved him. Amidst the flames, the butterfly brooch lies on the ground as a tear falls from her eye. A memory of Amber reveals his thought that he finally understands. As he once held her, he had explained it was because of the brooch he gave her. Clutching the brooch, Lily kneels over his body and desperately pleads for it to save him. Amber's bloodied face is still and lifeless. Crying, she desperately questions why the brooch isn't working, then remembers Amber told her it was filled with his magic. A past memory shows her own lifeless body, the brooch pinned to her dress. In another memory, she holds the brooch and wonders if she can use its power if it breaks. She holds the glowing artifact, thinking she should be able to use it. In the present, she holds the brooch over the rubble and begs it to turn back time again. The brooch shatters, releasing an explosion of brilliant magical light. Her eyes widen as she feels the magic take hold. Back in the past, Lily sits on a sofa in a pink dress as a young man with gray hair asks if she's alright. She clutches her chest, apologizing for spacing out a little. Her brother asks if she forgot they are going to celebrate Prince Amber's birthday. With a gentle smile, she says she just wanted to be sure. Clutching the brooch, she has a shocking realization. I came back. She closes her eyes, a serene smile of success on her face. Her brother asks if she is really okay, and she reassures him that she's fine. A grand royal carriage proceeds through a street lined with cheering citizens. A woman hands Lily a bouquet of purple roses, noting her good mood. Lily happily holds the flowers, her plan now in motion. Prince Ambers, dressed in a formal white uniform, steps down from his carriage. He stands in profile, looking calm and composed. Approaching him with the bouquet, Lily wishes His Highness Amber a happy birthday. She looks up at him with a bright, beautiful, and knowing smile. Amber looks down at her, acknowledging her greeting with a simple yes. Their hands touch as he accepts the flowers from her. Holding the bouquet, he looks at her and thinks, "We meet again." He gazes at her with intrigue, meeting her confident and happy expression.